of red engines downtown today as the annual fire truck parade returned for October's Fire Safety Month. Plus, highlights from a tough Packers loss in London. But despite the game's outcome, some local youth football leagues are still celebrating tonight after using the Packers' viewership to raise money for their team. That's all coming up right now at 10. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm McKenna Alexander. We begin tonight's newscast with a look at your certified most accurate forecast. Julian, how's it going out there?
Well, things are pretty nice for us once again as we're getting ready for our rest of our Sunday nights. But things are going to just be pretty nice as we get into our Monday as well. We're going to talk right about that in just a moment. Looking ahead, this is what we're going to be seeing for us. Temperatures will fall into the 40s as we get into the later parts of tonight. Clearing of our skies, we are still holding on to a little bit of cloud cover, mainly low-level clouds though here in Madison, and on top of it, it's going to feel pretty normal around this time of year as we get into the lows for tonight. We're looking at lower 40s for many of us here in Dane County, and for southern Wisconsin in itself, it's a good thing we're not into northern Wisconsin. That's where we're seeing temperatures falling into the freezing points once again. For us, we're rather close to seasonable, which is around 42 degrees this time of year. For Madison, we're into 40 degrees, 43 for Janesville, and 42 for Plattsville. Now, as we take a look at what we're going to be seeing going into tomorrow, well, 66 degrees, so it's going to be very similar to what we had for today, but we are going to be waking up to some patchy fog for some areas as we kick off our work week. Now, outside of that, folks, we are watching for some storm potential, which has an SPC marginal risk, which has been issued for areas in southern Wisconsin. We'll talk details about that in just a few moments. Until then, back to you, McKenna.
All right, thanks, Julian. The Packers are coming home from London with a loss after the New York Giants' second-half comeback proved to be too much for Green Bay to overcome. Jordan Reed joins us with those highlights from across the pond. Jordan?
Yeah, you might have needed to set an alarm this morning as to not miss that early kickoff. At the start of the game, and the Packers offense, they were certainly wide awake. Green Bay first on the board, and they just keep adding to it. Mercedes Lewis wide open for the Pack's second touchdown. They're now up 17-3 in the second quarter. But in the second half, it's a much different story for the Packers. 17 unanswered points allowed to the Giants. They tie it up at 20, and then 4 minutes later, it's Saquon Barkley's turn in the Wildcat, putting the G-men up 27-20. Now, one final attempt for the Pack on fourth down. Rodgers' pass is tipped, and it falls incomplete. The Packers drop this one in London, 27-22.
It wasn't good enough. So, again, give New York all the credit, going out there and coming up with a good plan and then out executing. And that's what happens when in this league, and if you don't come ready to play, and not that we didn't come ready to play, but they obviously out executed us in the second half. And like I told our team, it's just disappointing, but we can't let one loss compound into another.
A little later in sports, I'm going to have more highlights from the game. We're going to hear from Aaron Rodgers on that disappointing loss. McKenna?
All right, thanks, Jordan. Fans were still excited to watch the Packers take on the Giants in London this morning, and although Green Bay didn't get that victory, a young football team decided to use the eyes on the game as a way to raise money. Our Catherine Mark spoke with the team in Waunakee.
Green Bay Packers fans were excited to watch their team take on the New York Giants across the pond today. So much so that here at Lone Girl Brewing Company, they opened 3 hours earlier than they normally do to hear fans say this.
Packers! The Waunakee youth football team took advantage of the excitement for the game with a fundraiser. 10% of sales at Lone Girl Brewing Company were donated back to their program. There was also a 50-50 raffle for the first and second half. During the game, I talked to some of the players about why they're raising the funds.
Some of our helmets are from 2013, and it says that after 10 years you can't even use them anymore. So we need more money for more helmets and shoulder pads.
The youth football team saw a lot of success today. They raised $200 in just the first half alone for their team. As for the Packers, they can't say the same. They lost to New York Giants 27-22. Reporting in Waunakee, I'm Catherine Merck with News 3 Now.
As Mark said, today's event was a success as the team raised a total of $750. This afternoon, there was some more fun for the entire family downtown as Dane County Fire Chiefs and the Madison Fire Department hosted the annual Fire Truck Parade. The event's been around for over 20 years, and there was plenty more to do than just marvel at the red fire engines. Families could also go on a scavenger hunt, looking for safety features in downtown shops. Even some downtown restaurants joined in on the fun by offering fiery specials on food and drinks.
in this situation, the setting is almost perfect. The weather was great, and you know, being in downtown Madison, there's plenty of things to do, along with trying to get across the message of fire safety.
If you weren't able to make it downtown today, the Story Walk this month is fire safety themed and can be completed anytime through October. Earlier today on Madison's east side, you could find local artisans, producers, and retailers during one of Garver Feed Mill's patio pop-up events. Serving as a platform for local businesses to grow, today's event featured art, music, crafts, and even some shopping. The owner of a local hemp and wellness company says it's amazing to see how Garver Feed Mill has changed over the years.
You know, graffiti and broken walls, trees growing inside, and it was amazing to be a part of what is now Garver and how they've, what it's transformed into.
There are more events planned at Garver Feed Mill. For details and dates, just visit its website. More than 40,000 runners laced up their sneakers this morning for the Chicago Marathon. The 26.2-mile course weaved through 29 different Chicago neighborhoods. Today's runners come from all over, including each of the 50 states and roughly 100 different countries. This is the first time since the pandemic began in 2020 that the Chicago Marathon has returned in its full capacity. Staying across the U.S. tonight, exotic dancers in California are voicing their concerns, saying they want to feel safe on the job and be compensated for their work, but fear they'll be fired for speaking out. As Lauren Posen explains, some dancers are now one step closer to gaining those protections.
This campaign has sort of lifted the veil on the stigmatization of dancers and also how we are overcoming that.
They are standing on the shoulders of exotic dancers before them who were able to unionize 3 decades ago. That was in San Francisco at a club that has since closed.
There's no watchdog group looking out for strippers, and so that's what I think a union can be, is like us looking out for ourselves and looking out for each other.
Reagan is a former dancer at Star Garden, a topless bar in North Hollywood. She says the push to unionize started earlier this year. One of the biggest concerns, workplace safety.
Security was informed by the management not to intervene if there was a problem with a customer, between a customer and a dancer. The dancer was told simply, you know, diffuse the situation, don't cause any drama, just smile and walk away, no matter what the instance is.
For months, dancers picketed outside the club. They caught the attention of Actors Equity, an established union who represents actors and stage managers in live theater. Equity partnered up with them. Earlier this week, the Labor Board announced dancers do have the right for an election on whether or not to unionize. It's the first step in a long process, but one Reagan hopes could change the industry nationwide.
Well, look at our contract. Like we got all of these things. We have all this power now. Like, don't you want a piece of that too? And then I think it's going to really. I hope that it takes off and people want to do it for themselves.
If the majority of dancers vote to elect Actors Equity as their bargaining representative, the next step will to begin contract negotiations. To international news now, at least 22 people are dead after days of heavy rainfall in Venezuela resulted in a major landslide. More than 50 people are still unaccounted for as crews continue working through debris in order to clear roads and restore electricity and water services. During the past week, torrential rains have caused flooding in 11 of Venezuela's 23 states. In Iran, a wave of defiance is coming from female college students as they screamed "Get lost" to the nation's president during a campus tour. Roxana Saberi shares details on those protests.
Anti-regime protests reignited this weekend across Iran. On the streets, at universities, and at schools. But as the protests spill into their 4th week, the regime's use of force appears to be growing more brutal. Activists say security forces shot this woman in the neck in the northeastern city of Mashhad. And that in the western city of Sanandaj, they killed a driver who was simply honking in support of the protesters. Nearby, a woman wails, "My son, my son."
Often forced in areas that is more remote from the capital, in ethnic majority areas, has been very, very intense.
Human Rights Watch researcher Teresa Parifar has documented the deaths of dozens of protesters across the country. How many of those are children?
There are the names of at least 9 children. It is not surprising to us that there have been children among protesters.
Anger at the authorities is erupting, and signs of resistance are spreading. Some shopkeepers have gone on strike. Hackers interrupted state-run TV with the message, "Join us and stand up." And more women are walking outside without the required headscarves, a simple yet symbolic act of defiance. Roxana Saberi, CBS News, London.
Still ahead tonight at 10, economists say a boom in manufacturing demand is good news for the economy, but a shortage of skilled workers is stalling its impact. A look at how the industry is working to rebound from the pandemic. Coming up next on News 3 Now.
Did you know Tim Michaels said people shouldn't be openly gay in public?
But I think when you bring it out of your house and onto the public street, that's where I differ.
Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as your governor?
Aren't you tired of being tired? Shop Denver Mattress today and get all the Z's you need.
And during the biggest sale of the season, everything is on sale. Plus 4 years, no interest, and no down payment.
Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
As political ads bombard you with campaign promises and claims to capture your vote, News 3 Now gives you a reality check, clarifying the candidates' messages and finding the facts to help you make informed choices. Reality Check, Wednesdays on News 3 Now at 6.
No one goes all in on made-from-scratch freshness like Papa Murphy's. Because when you go all in, people notice. Go all in with the Triple Pet Pizza for just $11.99. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas patch reported reductions in pain severity, using less or a lot less oral pain medicines, and improved quality of life. That's why we recommend Salonpas. It's good medicine.
With Choice Hotels, there's always a reason to book it. Whatever your reason, save 20% when you stay 2 or more nights at participating locations. Book direct at choicehotels.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Nick Bolton here with the latest from Bell & Howell. We call them tack glasses. Inspired by the sunglasses worn by our heroes in uniform, tack glasses block blinding glare so well, invisible objects suddenly become visible. Enhance colors to give you vision as sharp as an eagle's and survive even the harshest conditions.
Act now to get your tack glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. So don't delay. Order yours today.
Aren't you tired of being tired? Shop Denver Mattress today and get all the Z's you need.
And during the biggest sale of the season, everything is on sale. Plus 4 years, no interest, and no down payment.
Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times for sexual assault and harassment. Women said they were groped and pressured to have sex with their bosses. Those who spoke out were fired. Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as governor?
Flu season's coming up fast, so we're rolling up our sleeves to get vaccinated. Monday, our health experts share some good reasons why you should too.
Plus, we're gearing up for that next round of rain across southern Wisconsin. That's Monday morning from 4:30 to 7.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
In health news tonight, a new study suggests getting a colonoscopy may reduce the risk of dying from colorectal cancer by as much as 50%. But the statistic only applies to those who agreed to be screened, and of those who underwent colonoscopies, the study found it reduced their risk of death by 31% compared to those who were not screened. However, researchers did determine that 455 people would need to be invited to a colonoscopy screening in order to prevent 1 case of cancer. Taking a look at the economy now, Made in America appears to be making a comeback. A post-pandemic manufacturing boom has increased profits and created scores of new jobs. But as Christine Romans explains, there's still demand for skilled workers.
They gave me an official offer today.
1 open position filled.
This is our open requisition job book.
Countless more still open.
The number of jobs is it's just incredible.
At this training facility in Pittsburgh, job seekers are learning new skills to seize on a post-pandemic spike in manufacturing.
What's really heightened the issue of the big need and the big demand for these types of individuals is with the coupling of COVID and the individuals that were already looking to retire in the next 3 to 4 years.
Neil Ashby is president and CEO of New Century Careers. Come back. It's a nonprofit for adults looking to enter the industry in the most competitive environment in years.
We have individuals that are completing these skilled training programs and yet are going out on 5, 6, 7 interviews, and those companies are all competing for that single source skilled individual.
Since 2020, U.S. manufacturing has increased its profits by more than $200 billion, offering hundreds of thousands of jobs each month. So what's behind the latest boost? At the Jennison Corporation, workers are busy making everything from firefighters' equipment to construction machinery. Hayden Jennison says recent supply chain issues overseas mean more new customers.
It was taking months for parts to not only get manufactured but come across, and they decided that they were willing to pay U.S. manufacturing pricing to be able to get that much faster.
Pricing and product demands have changed drastically in recent years. When service industries became scarce over the pandemic, demand for consumer products and, of course, PPE and medical equipment kept factory workers essential.
Among the average consumer, we did see that, hey, there's a real value for American-made products.
Industry expert Erica Soda says new technologies are also paving the way forward.
We often take a look at the images of manufacturing and we see the sparks flying in a welding environment, or perhaps it's a little bit dingy, dark, but by and large, our manufacturing jobs today are high-tech.
But today's techs are also requiring higher salaries and more flexibility.
We've had to significantly raise our wages to stay competitive in the industry.
Jennison says there's enough work to staff another full shift at this facility, but even at $20 to $30 an hour, finding the right team has been difficult.
Hiring has been a problem since 2020. Hiring experienced candidates that understand the industry and understand what they're doing has been very difficult.
Newly trained candidates like Ishmael are glad to be coming in now. Laid off during the pandemic, he's now in high demand.
After that happened, it was a little rough and tumble, but I landed here and I'm actually pretty happy with how things turned out.
The latest numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show 263,000 jobs were added in September, which is slightly higher than what economists had predicted. Let's get a look now at your certified most accurate forecast with meteorologist Julian Searight.
Well, we're going to be seeing tonight's be rather seasonable for many of us here in southern Wisconsin, but what about tomorrow? Well, folks, it's going to be very similar to today, except for we're looking at plenty more sunshine. Could be waking up to some patchy fog in some areas, especially around Madison, but overall, we're looking at temperatures to be into the mid-60s and even for the upper 60s for some areas and close to 70 degrees for Lone Rock as we get into tomorrow. So planning out the day, just know that it is going to be a pleasant and wonderful start to our Monday. 69 degrees over towards Janesville with 68 into Platteville. Now, as we take a look at what we're going to be seeing later into the week, some changes on the way. Tuesday, we have a marginal risk in effect for much of the viewing area. Only areas that were really not encompassed to the marginal risk as of right now, which is a level 1 out of 5 for severe weather, is mainly the northeast. As we get into what we're going to be looking at, well, we'll start off with what we're going to see for our Monday. Monday morning, as you're heading out the door, is going to be on the chillier side. So you're definitely going to need a coat, but we are going to be looking at plenty of sunshine in abundance by the time we get into the lunchtime hour. 60s will already be there, and then we'll see just a little bit of a pickup in terms of winds, but it's not going to be overly breezy. As we get into our Monday evening, around the 5 p.m. commute, temperatures into the mid-60s, around 70 for Lone Rock, but for Janesville into Platteville, we're looking at the upper 60s for us. So closer towards the Illinois state line is where we're going to see a bit more milder temperatures for us. Transitioning into our Monday night, well, we're going to be seeing some cooler air, but it's not going to be nearly as cool as it has been for tonight and this weekend in itself. Now let's get to Tuesday morning. Well, Tuesday morning, a bit more cloud cover, some fog is going to be possible, and then we're going to see those winds shifting, coming in from the south. It's going to be bringing in some rapid heating for us. By the time we get into our late morning, we're already going to be in the 60s, and by the time lunchtime hits, we're looking at the lower 70s for areas just west of Dane County and even into the upper 60s for us here in Madison. Once we get into our 5 p.m. commute, we're already looking at potentially seeing a couple of showers to pop up and move their way through our Tuesday early afternoon. Then Tuesday nights, we're looking at cloud cover to really blanket us. Now, overnight is where we could see some concerns of potential some showers or storms just to the northwest, which could start to sweep their way across southern Wisconsin in the overnight hours, and especially by the time we get into our 7 o'clock hour for us as we're heading out the door. Could start to see some showers or storms just southeast of Dane County, and then another round starting to roll their way in by the time we get into our late morning. It's going to be around 10 o'clock and even close to the lunchtime hour. We're looking at more showers and storm potential for us here in southern Wisconsin. Could see about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. Not looking for it to be a flat-out washout, but still we are looking for some precipitation for us here in southern Wisconsin. Outside of that, we're going to be looking at the cool air to start to return for us by the time we get into our Thursday. We do have a shot of seeing potentially some showers early Thursday morning, but outside of that, folks, we're looking at 50s to stick around for us through the back end of the work week and heading into the weekend, and then even colder air. So we're going to call this one another fall front is moving its way in Sunday, which is going to be dropping our temperature highs into the upper and middle 40s, and overnight, whew, that's right, looking at freezing temperatures again.
We're going to focus on that 71 on Tuesday, and we're just going to focus on that, and the rest we're not going to worry about till we wake up.
Yep, absolutely. So we're just going to have to get through these storms coming on Wednesday.
Then fall and winter.
And fall.
All that.
Gotta love that.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Thanks, Julian. Still ahead, it's almost that time of year for Badger Hoops as the team hosted its annual scrimmage this afternoon. Jordan has more on sports coming up next.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at Lens Crafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
Reducing prison populations is now sexy. Reducing prison populations is now sexy.
Sexy? Mandela Barnes's administration has released over 800 criminals, including 44 child rapists. That's not sexy. It's terrifying. And as a mother, I don't want Mandela Barnes anywhere near the Senate. From defunding our police to releasing predators, Mandela Barnes is a threat to Wisconsin families.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
The house before you, over 30 years old, still has its original window. Boom.
There's no need to be afraid of old windows. Call Feldco for 50% off.
It's the biggest sale of the season. 50% off Feldco windows, plus no money down and no interest until 2024.
50% off windows ends soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call the number on your screen and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month. So call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-451-3571 to receive your free Carefree Dental Card information kit.
There's nothing to do.
You should check out Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home with a 95% average payout.
And with so many slot machines, there's a game for every kind of player.
They're right, honey. And with new promotions and reward club perks all the time, there are more ways to win than ever before.
Find your fun and visit Ho Chunk Gaming Madison today.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Now, what is happening?
Don't miss Schuster's Farm Fall Harvest, September 17th through October 31st.
Over 60 activities for all ages. Get lost in a corn maze. Enjoy barnyard animals and hay rides.
Over 14 acres of pumpkins, tasty eats and treats. Apple cider donuts, homemade pumpkin cake, caramel apples, craft beer, and wine.
Dare to enter our haunted forest. Schuster's Farm Fall Harvest, just east of Madison and Deerfield. Visit schustersfarm.com for details.
At Stanton Optical, you get great value on eye care, including contacts. Right now, get a 1-year supply of AccuView Oasis and an eye exam for only $189. Scan now to book your eye exam. Yay, technology.
LaFleur put it best after his team's disappointing loss in London. They haven't put together a complete game this season. One half, they're firing on all cylinders, the other, ice cold. And that happened to be the case during their international debut. First half, the Packers look solid. I mean, Aaron Rodgers finds Alan Lazard for score number 1. Then in the second quarter, he goes to Mercedes Lewis, giving all the fans in green and gold something to cheer for. But something shifts after halftime, especially in that fourth quarter. Giants are able to tie it up. Then they take the lead just minutes later. Well, there's still 6 minutes on the clock, and that's plenty of time to answer. And Aaron Rodgers is known for these high-intensity, late-game drives, but the Giants deny. Only points they managed in the second half are off a safety. Rodgers finishes the day 25 of 39 for over 200 yards with 2 touchdowns. He was very grateful for the opportunity to be able to play in London, but he knows things need to change.
We get to handle adversity a little bit better. We're a little bit of a roller coaster team at times. Our best teams have been a little bit more steady. So we got to find that rhythm and that steadiness. We got to get back and get healthy and get rested. We got a home game that we'll probably be favored in against the Jets. And we got to go back and refocus.
Like the MVP said, there's no bye after this London game, so it's back to Green Bay to host the Jets next Sunday. Kickoff at Lambeau is set for noon. And they're back. The Wisconsin men's basketball team hit the court this afternoon for its annual red and white scrimmage, giving everyone a chance to see the Badgers before the regular season gets underway in a couple of weeks. A lot of new faces on the hardwood, and they are the ones who took the center stage. Max Klesmit not only led the team white, but the whole field. The junior transfer put up 17 points. 9 of those came off triples. On the other side, freshman Connor Essegian tallied 15 points, drained 3 three-pointers. Team Red got the win. Now here's what some of those Badgers had to say about their biggest takeaway from this game.
I feel like it was definitely a step in the right direction. You know, I feel like France helped us out a lot, so we kind of have an edge with that too. But I feel like, you know, with all of it, you know, I feel like it was a good day today. You know, that, you know, we're just going to take and build and get better and better.
I like who we can be offensively. I don't like who we are defensively right now, so that'll be the film breakdown. But we can, those all are fixable, no doubt. But like I said, I like the unselfishness and the versatility that this group has offensively.
That's why. Final round of the Constellation Furyk and Friends tournament down in Florida. Madison's own Steve Stricker is crowned the winner. He finishes 14 under overall with 4 birdies today. Truly what a season it's been for Stricker. He has taken home a trophy in 3 of his last 4 starts. This latest win marks his 4th of the season.
All right, thanks, Jordan. Stay with us. Julian's back with the final check of your first warn forecast coming up when we return.
It's A1 Furniture's anniversary sale with up to 43% off store-wide and 43 months free financing. Plus, get tax included on purchases over $9.99. Huge selection in stock now at A1 Furniture.
Madison's locally owned family furniture store.
Tim Michael's company has been sued numerous times for sexual assault and harassment in the workplace. But he says
people love working at Michael's.
Women said they were groped, assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
We have a great work culture.
Higher-ups called the women liars and fired those who spoke out. So when he says this,
we have a great work culture,
know that the culture comes from the top.
After driving cattle in the 1880s, hitting the hay could be a literal experience. But some lucky cowpokes got to sack out in a brand new Sealy mattress. And after 140 years, Sealy is still delivering a great night's sleep. That's why Denver Mattress is proud to offer the Sealy Posturepedic Plus Hybrid. With cool-to-touch covers, body-hugging memory foams, and motion-reducing coils, you'll sleep cooler and more comfortably all night long. Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right Sealy.
Nick Bolton here with the latest from Bell & Howell. We call them tack glasses. Inspired by the sunglasses worn by our heroes in uniform, tack glasses block blinding glare so well, invisible objects suddenly become visible. Enhance colors to give you vision as sharp as an eagle's and survive even the harshest conditions.
Act now to get your tack glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. So don't delay. Order yours today.
The
Internet of Things is evolving, creating the Internet of You. And Spectrum, America's leading internet and mobile provider, is bringing you seamless connectivity across all your devices. Introducing Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet with speeds of 300 megabits, advanced Wi-Fi, and Spectrum Mobile Unlimited, all for just $49.99 a month. Call 833-673-4999. Spectrum Internet delivers speeds up to a gig with over 99.9% network reliability. Advanced Wi-Fi provides enhanced security and privacy that automatically blocks threats to protect all of your devices. And Spectrum Mobile gives you unlimited talk, text, and data with nationwide 5G and the most reliable service coast to coast. Switch now. Call 833-673-4999. At Spectrum, it's not just about connecting things, it's about connecting you. Get it all with Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and one line of Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for $49.99 a month. Call 833-673-4999 or visit a Spectrum store today.
Don't miss A1 Furniture's anniversary sale. Save up to 43% off name brand mattresses and get 43 months free financing. Plus, get tax included on purchases over $9.99. Huge selection in stock now at A1 Furniture.
Madison's locally owned family furniture store.
The Wisconsin gubernatorial debate, Friday at 7 p.m.
Check this out. The Festival of Lights is underway in Berlin, but a European energy crisis has forced the festival to reduce the amount of venues it's illuminating. Last year, 60 venues were lit up, but now only 35 are a part of the festival, with the organizers saying the event's also using 75% less electricity. Germany has enacted various energy-saving measures to combat potential energy shortages this winter, including banning the illumination of public buildings.
Well, I like lights.
Those are some nice lights.
It's really cool. No, that's awesome.
Whenever I was reading this, I hadn't seen the video, and I kind of thought it was, you know, like Christmas lights on a building. You know, like it's illuminating it, but not like a...
It was kind of giving me Deck the Halls, like that movie with, you know...
Could you watch a movie on those buildings?
It was like kind of like a projector, right?
Yeah.
It's projecting the light, so you technically could.
You can also save material costs.
Yeah.
They're
nice.
You know,
it's kind of like how Disney World does their Disney Castle, where they just throw up the
Germany. Take note from Disney.
Sounds nice. Be a nice little thing to do during the holidays, huh?
Yeah, which are coming soon, but you know.
Jeez, dude, there's only 2 months left in this.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's talk about
like
fall. Yeah. Well, short enough. So we have a bit of a roller coaster in our forecast, folks. It's going to be mild and then pretty nice going into Tuesday, but we are looking at showers and storm chances coming from Tuesday nights, Wednesday, and even for our Thursday morning. But then the colder air comes for the weekend.
All right, thanks for joining us tonight. News 3 Now this morning starts at 4:30.